This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Woo! Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Tim Daniel, and tonight's episode is brought to you by Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade $10. Well, later on tonight's show, we're going to talk about Matt McClain drawing some walks. Is he starting to kind of get some feeling there? Gino getting hot? Another day with a homer. Overall, the offense incredibly stagnant, but we're going to start the show talking about something we don't talk a whole lot about this season. A bad Chase Burns game?
Since hindsight is always 20/20, let's deliver today's second guess.
The second guess isn't that Chase Burns got the ball. The second guess isn't really that Chase Burns got beat. The second guess is, wait, that can happen? That's a thing? This is capable of losing decisions? Are Chase Burns? No way. That was weird. And it kind of was like, overall, yeah, it's a bad game. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, he did things really well and didn't yeah, sure. But overall, baseball card says it wasn't a good day for him. And that's a bummer. But here's the other thing we have to remember. He has dazzled us so much this year. He's been so impressive all year. He's been one of the 3-4 best pitchers in the National League this year. So yeah, he's going to get hit around sometimes. And today he just got hit around. And remember, this is only his second loss since April. Was today disappointing? Was it not his best outing? Sure. Has he been absolutely incredible this year? Absolutely. I don't want any other guy pitching for my team than that guy, unless Jacob Mizraowski somehow ended up a Cincinnati Red, but we know that's not happening. So yeah, and you kind of saw the first couple innings look pretty comfortable, and then gets hit a little bit in the second inning with that. Ward Washington gets 2 runs on the board. Reds go back and tie in the 6th. Burns goes out for the 6th. That Dylan Cruz challenge, I think, just kind of flipped everything. That would kind of be where, and you saw Washington go from there and put 4 runs on the board, and then the Reds were dead to rights. And here's the thing with Burns here. You got to remember, like I said, not only is he going to get hit around at some point, he's going to have bad days like this. Every starter has it. Paul Skeens has had it quite a bit of late. Jacob Mizraowski has had it. The Reds did to Jacob Mizraowski. But so yeah, you're going to have those days. You also have to remember he's never pitched these many innings before. So that's kind of been, I don't want to go ahead and put the speculation that he's hitting the wall by any stretch of the matter. He could be, but it's not for me to say. That's for Tito and the pitching staff and for Chase himself to say if that's the case. But knowing what we know about Chase Burns, I'm sure he's going to take this one. He's going to be really pissed off at the outing. He's going to be really disappointed. He's going to watch film. And when he's back at it next week, he's going to be ready to roll because that's what he does. He's going to be ready for that matchup against the Marlins when they're back home next week. They hope he'll be pitching in. So, bummer of a day for him. But I think you can live with a one bad Chase Burns outing every now and again. And then, so we move on and we're going to talk about it again, guys. What is going on with the offense yet again?
This is what you'll be talking about.
So, actually, Jimmy kind of makes a good point here. Quit messing with Burns and let him pitch on the days he's supposed to pitch. I don't disagree with that, Jimmy, actually. I think that's a very valid point. Offense today. Once again, just 5 hits. Only 2 runs to show for it. Eugenio Suarez 2-run homer. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I don't know. The offense had been looking a little better of late until this series, and then it just kind of seems like it's been a little bit of a bummer. Everything I just said about Burns, Ellie's going to have those days at the plate too, right? Tonight he goes 0 for 4 with a strikeout. JJ Bleday, who's been pretty solid all year as far as drawing walks and hitting for power, goes 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Jose Trevino, who's hit pretty well of late, goes 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. You kind of get the gist. Key Brian Hayes is, I don't even know if I have to mention his outings anyway. By the way, Hector Rodriguez pinch hit for his second hit. That was pretty cool. was pretty fun to watch. How they had 2 nights in a row where Ivan Johnson's gotten 1 at bat, and it's been the last at bat of the game. That has to be like pretty. It can't be coincidental. It's coincidental, obviously, but it's also weird because I don't know. I get it. They lost both games by, a couple runs or more. But that guy kind of shows you where the Reds bench is at when he's getting the last at bat of the game 2 nights in a row, right? Not promising. And the usual stuff we talk about, guys. I go 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. So they didn't have their normal amount of guys that they had chances, and they leave 6 on base. That the thing that's really frustrating is how many of these guys are left on base in scoring position with 2 outs is where I kind of get a little agitated. So Gino, Key Bryan, and Ellie were all left on the base in scoring position with 2 outs. That's where the Reds are kind of had these issues with this offense this year. It's just kind of been like, they've always just kind of need that one extra hit and they can't get it. And obviously they're going against a lefty today. So that's something where Jim Day actually had a pretty decent stat on the radio broadcast. The Reds OPS is 40 points higher against lefties than it is righties, but they have more wins against righties than they do lefties. I'm sure all the people who were going to come after me yesterday for talking about milestones are going to be pissed off I used some more stats, but I probably used that word a little too much today. I apologize, people. But also, why did the Nationals take Alvarez out? He was pitching just fine. He had them all, and then they bring in Kranick, and he gives up a solo shot to Gino that ties the game up. He gives up a 2-run homer to Gino that ties the game up. I don't know, but obviously it didn't hurt my feelings. So one is, as we're kind of at this point in the year, like we said, they've definitely played much better ball of late. And this is only their second series they've lost in the 7 since the All-Star break. June, they've played really well. August, they played really well. Obviously, it sucks to lose a series, especially against a team that's not very good. They're basically probably about the same talent level as you, if we're being fully transparent. So it's a bummer to drop this series, but they have a chance to kind of salvage a game tomorrow, and we'll see if they get there. It's going to be a bullpen day for the Nationals, so we'll see how things go. But hey, we'll talk about some positives on the other end of the break because it looks like Eugenio Suarez is finding that power again. And is Matt McClain back to figuring out how to get on base? But first, a big thank you to our friends at Amazon for this limited break. This back-to-school season, spend less on your kids with Amazon. We all know how crazy the back-to-school shopping experience can be. It starts with a few items on the list, then suddenly you're shopping for supplies, clothes, lunch gear, tech, and about 10 other things you don't see coming. It adds up fast. When you look at the school supply list and wonder if you're shopping for one child or opening a small office supply store, I didn't realize first grade required this much inventory. Shopping like this can get out of control if you're not careful. When the school says your child needs a calculator, headphones, a tablet for class, and somehow you're buying another one before the semester's halfway over, since when did kids need so much tech for 3rd grade? When it's 9 p.m. the night before school starts and somebody suddenly remembers they need folders, notebooks, markers, and apparently 12 other things nobody mentioned until now. Nothing gets the heart rate up quite like emergency school shopping. I'm convinced Prime's Deliver Tomorrow Before 7 a.m. feature was created exclusively for parents in this moment. So remember, with Amazon's low back-to-school prices, just spend less on your kids because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Shop back to school at Amazon and spend less on your kids. Thank you all to the everydayers who are here, even on a Saturday night when the Reds lose by 6 runs, spending some time with me as we just recap the game on the postcast. If you are an everydayer and want to step up your everydayer skills, check out the Locked On Reds Everydayer Club. Go to lockedonreds.supercast.com for $5 a month or $50 a year. You get access to ad-free episodes, and you also get access to our Discord chat. And also, thank you for making Locked On Reds your first listen each and every day, whether it's the night, the morning after a late night game with me, or it's Jeff and Steven hearing what they have to say Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. The 3 of us are definitely grateful for all the support we get from you. I guess if we had to give a Reds player of the game, it'd be Gino.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I'm not going to sit here and try to act like Gino's had a great year because that would be lying. But the last couple of nights he's homered. And at this point, at this rate in the year, and I talked about this last night, so I'm talking about it again tonight. I'm sorry if I repeat myself. I think at this point, all you just want to see is him hit homers. that's what he brings to the table. He doesn't really do anything else. He's been okay in the field. He's made some really nice plays in the field. He's had some like spray opposite field balls that drop, but he's not going up there looking for that. And you can tell too, when he hit that ball tonight, he knew it was gone. The way like he left his bat and he tied the game up and put the Reds in a situation where they could have won the game. And obviously that didn't happen because they had the meltdown in the next half of the inning. But he's got like his OPS, I will say, is over 900 in the last 7 games. So that's what you'll take from him. He's drawing walks again. He's got a 370 on base in that time frame. So if he's going to be able to just do that, walk and hit homers, cool, man. I know you're going to strike out 7 times in a week, but if you give me 2 homers inside that 7 strikeouts and like 2 walks, fine by me. Fine by me. I can live with that. I really hope that he finds his way again, and maybe next year, whenever the season starts, if the Reds get going, maybe we kind of see him back on the team. They've got the mutual option, and maybe kind of finds his swing again. It's also strongly not a possibility too. I'm not naive, but obviously that's for another time. We got a lot of baseball left to play this year, but today was kind of a bummer. Obviously, you want to see those games, but it was nice to see Gino have a nice game like that as well. And to have an X factor for the Reds today, if there is one, let's give some love to Matt McClain.
It's time to reveal who made the biggest under-the-radar impact with today's X Factor.
Hard to say under the radar when you lose by 6 runs. I get it, but McClain's finding something again, and it's about the most comfortable he's looked in a stretch since he came back from the IL. But, since months early in the season, he obviously had a really good spring training, which got us all of our hopes up, and then kind of went downhill from there. But another guy where his last 7 innings, you might look at his batting average and go, 211. Sure. 333 on base, 632 slugging in that time with 2 homers, 3 walks, 2 stolen bases, and 4 runs scored. So for him, hitting at the bottom of the order, I know he hit 6 tonight. I feel like it's just something where I don't know what Matt McClain's future looks like. I don't know if he's going to be a Red for the rest of his career. I don't know if he has 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 more years in his career. I love to think he does. I think he's certainly talented enough. And I think a lot of this, not that I am qualified to say this for any player matter, I think sometimes it's just a mental thing with him. I think sometimes there's something between the ears that kind of just throws him off. But I do think he's talented. I do think he has what it takes to be a good ball player. And I don't think he's a 193 guy, but I also don't think he's a 290 guy like he was in 2023. I think he's probably, if they get like 235 to 255 from Matt McClain next season, I think they'll live with that because of how good he is as a defensive second baseman. And he does obviously work a count really well. He draws walks really well. He makes things hard from the pitchers, but we'll see how that goes. But for him right now of late, I'm really happy with how he's been handling the strike zone and kind of getting on base a little more. Noelvi Marte had another hit tonight. Goes 1 for 3. Obviously, no one's going to be excited about a 580 OPS, but he's just one of those guys, man. And like I talk about this a lot. I know what I'm saying here. With him, it looks like the thing for him is once he figures out how to work a pitch count, he's going to be pretty good. He obviously ends at bats way too early. When he doesn't, he strikes out, doesn't walk for anything. Once he can kind of get a little bit more patience, I think he's going to have a pretty good major league career. And I think that the Reds probably feel that way too, or else they probably would have been like sayonara at this point. Because if you look more and more, TJ Friedel plays less and less. And it's because of those reasons right there that you're seeing a whole lot less of them. Pierre says, why was Tyler Stephenson on the bench tonight? I don't know, Pierre. I don't know, man. I get that catchers need a day off. And Trevino needed a day to kind of be it. But like, that Trevino play was frustrating where Hector Rodriguez makes a hell of a throw to the home plate. And he kind of like has that thing, you guys know what I'm talking about, where the runner slides and the ball, he kind of traps the ball, kind of blocking the play. But I don't know. I feel like it was fundamentally not very good on his end. And Hector Rodriguez, he kind of let Hector Rodriguez down because that was a strike. That was a heck of a throw. But, it's baseball. And like we always say, the beauty about baseball is you get another chance tomorrow. And the Reds do lose tonight to the Washington Nationals 8-2. The Nationals have 8 runs on 10 hits, no errors. The Reds have 2 runs on 5 hits and 0 errors. Clayton Beeter gets the win. He is now 5-3 on the season, and Chase Burns takes the loss. He is now 13-2. And the Reds just want to make sure to get this out of the way. Tomorrow, don't forget, it's a Peacock exclusive game. It's a 12:15 first pitch, and the Reds will be playing their last game before they're on off day on Monday and continue the road trip. But Brady Singer takes the hill for the Reds, now knowing he's going to be a Red at least for the rest of the year. Singer right now is 5-10 with a 4.67 ERA. The Nationals will be having a bullpen day. I have not seen if they've announced their opener just yet. But like we said, first pitch will be at 12:15, so probably be here probably about 2:50, 3 o'clock around that time. Everyone, again, really appreciate everything. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I know it wasn't fun today to be a Reds fan, but you guys always make this enjoyable, and we all definitely appreciate it. Also, thank you to everyone who did join the Everydayer Club, and please be sure to stay tuned in and subscribe to us here on YouTube. Hit the notification button. Also, but if you prefer, you can also take us on your podcast app of choice and subscribe there as well. I'm Tim Daniel. Everyone, thank you so much again. Go Red Legs. I will see you tomorrow.